Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of RT Talk. I am flying solo this week again. The plan was to have Doug back for this one, but we both had some wedding plans this weekend slash Friday, so that kind of threw a wrench into everything. But I am back, I am Michael Cool, and we do have a real succinct, short episode as has been the new standard. And thank you everyone who has been watching and subscribing and stuff. It is nice to have some, I guess consistent growth that's been happening, and it's very positive, and it kind of is definitely fuel for the fire to keep doing this. But to get to it, this week, we talking about a lot of hateful stuff actually. So Kai has been having some troubles on Twitch and dealing with hate raids, and we'll get into that in just a minute here. In sort of a similar story, Charlotte of Funhouse was not getting hate raided, but was also dealing with some negative comments. That's, well, again, we'll talk about in a second. And then we just kind of have some smaller topics. We're going to talk about the Getting Over It sequel that finally came out. The Olympics video that's been teased for, more than, I think, a month now. And then I want to wrap up by talking about Betrayal, or Camp Betrayal, rather, because the final episode has aired, and of the first season, and I've watched all of it, and I just wanted to kind of give a quick, no spoilers or anything, but just a quick sort of review and everything, even though I feel like I've talked about it quite a bit, but that's what I'm going to do at the end. So, let's get into the first story, which is the Kai situation. Sorry for my loud-ass old microphone. Mouse. It's pretty bad, but the Kai situation was, and I believe this happened during what has become the weekly Among Us stream that Alfredo does on Saturdays. I think this is when this happened. But Kai was hate rated, which was something that I've never even heard of, honestly, until this happened to her. The tweet that she put out is, it says, "This is part of my live reaction to the hate raid. Normally, I never show myself as this vulnerable, but it's important for people to hear what I said. If you want to watch the entire thing, it starts at 1 hour and 22 minutes in the below link." And then she has it's a 59-second clip of her talking about being hate rated and kind of, I guess, how it's affecting her, impacting her. And then to follow up, there was, I think it was her first stream since that had happened, which was either on Monday or Tuesday. She was hate rated 2 more times. First stream back, and guess who just got hate rated again? Cannot make this shit up. And then it's a gif of the anger. What was this thing's called? I can't remember what that Pixar movie's called. Fuck. Inside. That's what it's called. The anger emotion. I've seen that movie once when it came out, but it's a gif of his head exploding. Yeah, she followed up that tweet by saying, "Still live, got hate rated 2 more times after." So actually it was 3 times after on her first stream back. So 4 total times in 3 days or something. So again, I had never heard of a hate raid. I knew of, because I'm not, to be honest, I'm not really big into the Twitch world. I watch some of Alfredo's streams more than almost anything. I watch the kind of replays. It's very seldom do I get to see stuff live, but I know that the rating and everything, this is about to be the oldest man description of what happened. I know that rating is so say if Alfredo was streaming and then he wanted to send his audience over to say Michael, who was streaming, then that would be a raid that they'd send all their viewers over there, and then it would be in most cases a very positive thing. In this case, it's, I guess, from what I've kind of gathered about, from reading about this a little bit since this happened to her, it was that it's about a bunch of accounts. Usually I think there are a lot of bot accounts will sort of in mass follow your stream, and will also can be automated to send a message. In her case, it was a ton of the N-word. So super cool, super friendly, super nice, very positive thing. She's been promoting, since this happened, this hashtag called Twitch Do Better, and a link to this petition that's on change.org Now, to be honest, I don't know if the petition will actually go anywhere. I want someone. I mean, I know there's obviously things have come out of change.org, but I feel like in the most times that change.org has come across in my world, it's always for something that actually doesn't ever happen. But in the case of this one, I hope that Twitch, I mean, because I'm assuming when stuff like this happens, Twitch is paying attention and they are wanting to make an effort to change these types of things from even being possible. But I would hope that in this case, the change.org will actually maybe shine a light on something that they can take from, because the person who put together this petition, which as of this recording has just over 12,000 signatures, and they're trying to get to 15,000. But some of the things that they put forward, I feel like would be good not only for Twitch, but honestly for so many different social media platforms. And I mean, really anywhere that people can leave comments or could easily en masse send hate and harassment someone's way. So I'm not going to read the whole description for this change petition, but I want to at least get to the part where some of the things that they suggest and why I think it'd be a positive thing. So about halfway through, they say hate raids and follow botting is not new in the Twitch community. The Better Business Bureau has logged complaints from users of racially targeted incidents as early as 2018. And then they go through and say, basically saying, as an IT industry, or as a professional in the IT industry, here are some things that I suggest. And then there's these bullet points that say, introduce additional authentication processes when creating accounts, log people's IP addresses to ensure they aren't creating numerous accounts for follow botting, allow streamers to customize criteria on how long a follower's account has been created in order to follow, and then a secondary. It's been a long time since I've been in school, so I don't remember what all these little indents and things are called. But as a secondary point on the third point, it says implement customizable terms of following for streamers to put before a person follows a streamer. Number 4 is when a user is banned, they should not be able to create or log into another account and follow again. Again, secondary points. Nor should they be able to send messages to the streamer or mods, nor should they be able to continue watching the stream. Number 5, introduce universal slurs that are banned from Twitch. Secondary point. Currently, streamers have to enter in these slurs in the mod view for the channel. And then 6, implement a better means to communicate feedback to report these incidents to Twitch. 7, implement ability for moderators to accept/deny raids in mod panel. 8, allow streamers to set the account age to allow people to chat on channel. So it took a little bit to read through those, but I think the best ones would be, now I don't know, I guess it would depend on what the additional authentication process would be, which would determine sort of how effective that would be, because I think anyone who's been using the internet long enough knows that there has been several different methods for authenticating that you are a real person, and those methods have changed a lot because they were kind of easily faked. They used to just have, a lot of times it was just typing in either the answer to a math problem or a certain amount, like text that'd be on screen. Now it's like they've kind of upped it to like click on pictures of traffic lights and all that stuff. So it's like there's always additional steps now. And obviously, it'll take innovating no matter what you would do to stay ahead of the curve, because people are always going to find a way around whatever sort of wall that you put up to stop stuff like this from happening. But I think just in general, I think that first point is something that would help a lot. I don't know about the logging people's IP addresses. I don't know if technically speaking, if how easily that would be, or if that would be easily spoofed or not. I'm not tech savvy enough to really know too much about that to know, I guess, how effective that would be or how possible. I do think that the allowing streamers to customize like how long a follower's account has been created, like in order to be allowed to follow them, something like that, or even just to the same kind of point, be able to put maybe a buffer between when a person creates their account and then when they can actually maybe post in chat or make a donate or whatever it may be. That alone, I think, would help a lot, because then it would prevent people from just making a new account and jumping right back into the fold. Now, again, going back to the users that are banned, I don't know, technically speaking, how easy or how hard that would be or anything like that. But the biggest one that I thought would make a big difference would be implement the ability for moderators to accept / deny raids in mod panel. Now, maybe not just like word for word exactly what they're suggesting there, but I think if there was maybe some way to, almost in the way that where YouTube has this, it has a built-in filter, which I realized is honestly not super effective, but if there was a way that you would basically, someone like a raid would come through, and then there was a way to preview the raid or something before it actually went fully live to see, kind of get an idea what it was, and then you can outright just stop that raid altogether, or in some way. Again, not really knowing the ins and outs of Twitch, I don't know how possible this is, or is what I'm saying even makes sense. But I think if you had a way for moderators and the people who are there who aren't just the person on stream, as well as the person on stream having this ability too, but if there was a way that they could see at least some idea what this was going to be, or if it was maybe flagged as possible bot accounts or something along those lines, I think there's stuff that could be done in that vein of implementing the ability for moderators to accept and deny raids in mod panel. Being as ignorant as I am of Twitch and everything, there's some of these tools that I might be saying that maybe they're already implemented, but I just think that if you're going to have, I feel like dealing with bots, especially in the way that they are being used, I feel like that's a very hard thing to try to manage and to try to work around. So it's going to take some creativity, and it's probably going to take several layers of efforts to fully prevent something like this. But yeah, it's like, I hate to see, it's just another Rooster Teeth person that's going through something that's, of course, it is racially charged again, as a lot of the internet tends to be. But it's, stuff like this, I feel like these stories just keep happening, and this is different than what we're going to talk about, or at least a little bit, I feel like, than what's going on with Charlotte. But it's just these types of things. It just, man, it's just when you get kind of exposed to some of the really dark corners of the internet, can take a toll on you. And there's at different points where I've, through one means or another, I have found my way to a part of the internet. Maybe it's like one of the to keep it very vague, one of the forum sites that has a lot of animosity and a lot of just unfiltered hate on it. You can kind of go through a couple subjects on those types of sites and just really feel down about humanity and what's maybe what the future will hold. But it's just, I hate seeing stuff like this, and I really hope that something comes out of this Twitch Do Better hashtag that's going on. And again, I don't know about the change.org petition, if that'll necessarily do anything, because again, I don't personally know of one that someone put up on change.org that actually changed what they were trying to change, even when they hit the signatures. I'm sure that has happened. I'm not saying that it hasn't, but I just hope the hashtag alone, and then the fact that the petition exists, is enough to get Twitch's attention, and then they can start putting in these layers for stuff like this to exist, or to stop the stuff like this from existing. Because, like I said, just bots in general, it's so hard to tell anymore what is a real person and what is just a fake person. And the case of the raid, it's obvious when you have all these, if you have I don't know how many people it was, or how many accounts it was rather, but if you have 400 or 1,000 all saying the exact same thing, that's obviously a bot. But in general, if you're talking on Twitter, if you see some random tweet or reply to something, or in a comment section, it just gets really hard to know who's a bot or spam or whatever it is sometimes, because it's so weird now. So I just hope that's sort of the direction this goes, because right now, the fact that she got hate rated 4 times in a matter of days it's not easy to deal with. I mean, I guess it can only happen so many times before you get a little desensitized to it, but I don't feel like that's the most positive or the best way to kind of get through something like this. So I guess this will we'll just kind of transition into the Charlotte part of it, because this is a little different. It was obviously, Kai's was very directed, and they went after her during her live stream. It was directed at her, but not in the same way as Kai. So through On Twitter, she posted, "I never want to acknowledge that transphobia in YouTube comments gets to me because it feels like giving them what they want, but damn it fucking sucks to put so much work and so much effort into something only for some random loser to insult you. And it happens every single time. It's been a hard week, so maybe I'm especially vulnerable, but it would be great if this didn't just come with the territory. Many get it far worse than me, but even still it's inevitable if you scroll far enough, and it fucking blows." So I can completely understand and relate to the fact of being extra vulnerable and then kind of finding either finding the negative comment or one that you've already seen is now getting to you more. I feel like this isn't even necessarily something that would have to come along with, making YouTube content. I feel like there's a lot of people that could relate to that just in general, where if maybe you're having a really bad week and you're just feeling extra vulnerable and you think back to some fight you had with your friend, 3 years ago, and some things that were said, or maybe something you said that you really regret, and now it's affecting you really harshly that day for some reason. So it's like I completely get that, and I don't take this, these back-to-back tweets as, someone just whining about it, because I've unrelated to Rooster Teeth entirely. There was someone that I saw that was talking about really, I'm going to try to keep this really vague, but they were really talking about getting negative comments in a way that you would think they were being physically assaulted on a daily basis. And it was really over the top and really extreme. And when I saw those ones, again, absolutely unrelated to what I'm talking about right now. But when I saw those tweets, I was almost like, I was really aggravated. So when I see something like this, I can relate to having this moment of sort of just acknowledging the reality of kind of what you do. And obviously I'm doing these videos is a much different level than what anyone at Rooster Teeth or Funhouse or whatever deals with. But the tweets like this, it's just, yeah, it's kind of just, I guess, giving certain people a peek behind the curtain as like, yeah, these comments that are buried, as much as you try to ignore them a lot of times, it can be kind of hard to avoid them. And even if you avoid most of them, if just when a few of them slip through, they can still affect you at some point. And, it's unfortunate that is, as she said, that it comes with the territory, but it's something that I feel like we talk about. It's like almost becoming every episode now where someone's dealing with some sort of, negative comments and everything. But yeah, and I think I would imagine too, being that she acknowledges that this is probably just feeling especially vulnerable right now. I would imagine that overall she has a healthy kind of attitude when it comes to negative comments, and either ignoring them or just kind of understanding, and it's kind of is what it is. It's, in the perfect world, if we can go through and actually make everyone be respectful and everything, that'd be great. But the reality is that a lot of people are not great, and a lot of people are angry, and a lot of people are hurting, and a lot of people are depressed, and a lot of people have a lot of negative emotions, and they were never given the tools or were taught how to handle stuff like that. And so what they do is some of the worst things that you can imagine doing. And sometimes you only get a little bit of that, and then you start lashing out at people that you don't know online and not really taking into account of, what that can really do to people. And, and this, again, this feels relevant not my life, but again, unrelated to Rooster Teeth, there was a separate podcast I was listening to where one of the hosts was talking about that a Reddit thread was made containing his address, his home address and phone number. And then for a while, people were just calling him and texting him, and were leaving, either calling to say really dark, shitty things to him, or texting these long messages about people in his life. And either it seemed like maybe even threatening them. He didn't get specific on everything, but it's a constant reminder of just what could possibly happen when you kind of are opened up to the entire world, and I don't know, I guess just the evil that's out there in a lot of people. So yeah, it's it's an unfortunate thing, and I don't, again, I feel like maybe I'm repeating myself a little bit, but I don't take this as sort of just in the same vein I took the other one that I mentioned first that was really blowing out of proportion. I think this is more of an acknowledgement of kind of what happens when you're in the public space, and every once in a while it'll kind of get to you, and that you'll eventually find something. Now, there's one thing I will be kind of, I guess, more critical of, was Rooster Teeth put out a tweet, and I can only assume that it was related to this Charlotte situation, because Rooster Teeth put their tweet out on August 14th at 3:41 p.m. And Charlotte's first tweet was August 14th at midnight, 12:08 a.m. So it's pretty, like, I think everyone kind of assumes that that's why they made this tweet. Now, I did not feel like this was a good reply to what was out there, or like what was happening, because the tweet just says, "Transphobia sucks and intolerance has no home in the Rooster Teeth community. Let's be inclusive and kind. If you disagree, you don't belong here." Now, on the positive side, it's like, I'm glad that they have like a tweet in support of, and say, to just reiterate and double down. If this is how you feel, then you don't belong here. Now, what I'm critical of. One, it's sort of like just saying the right thing without really doing anything. I'm not saying they should go through and just make wholesale changes trying to weed out every single negative comment they get, because I don't know if that's possible. I don't think that is possible. But I don't know. Something about it felt very hollow, and especially the part where it just says transphobia sucks. I felt like a 13-year-old typed that out, and it just didn't feel very it just felt like when a disaster happens somewhere, and say, and this is a very US thing, so I don't know if anyone who's watching this international, maybe you can relate to this in your own home country. But let's say there's like a landslide in Montana, and then the president comes out and it's like, oh, thoughts and prayers. We're sad for the people, and we are gonna do what we can to help recovery efforts. And it's, that they're doing it with like maybe good intentions. I don't know. It just felt like a very bare minimum statement to make, I guess. So I don't expect them. I mean, at the same time, I also don't expect them to have to make this long, heartfelt, speech or comment every time someone is feeling maybe a little bit down. But I don't know. I don't necessarily have an idea of what I think they should have done, but, maybe I just want to complain and point out things that I don't like without providing solutions. But I don't know. That was just me. It wasn't like a big deal in my life, but when I read that, I was like, oh, that just didn't feel. That didn't hit the way I think they wanted it to hit for me. So then, real quickly, we'll just go through the two topics rapid fire, because it's getting a little long here. So real quick, the Olympics video with Ray that was, again, been teased for a while, has finally it's come out on the site. I have not seen, maybe I don't think it got posted today because I've been at work and then I went straight into doing this. But I don't know if it got posted on YouTube or anything, but it is on the site that you can watch, I think, as a first only. So for everyone who's been waiting for that, it's here, and we're going to watch it. I do love, without having watched it yet, I do love that they went back to the old versus animated characters for them. And based on the characters that are present, I see Michael, I see Ray, I see Gavin, I see Jeff, and I believe that's Matt's character, which I never saw much. I'm not looking at a very small thumbnail, but I'm pretty sure that's who that is. I don't know who else that would be. So I will be watching that. Maybe, I don't know if I'll do it right after we're done with this, but it's one that I'll be watching, and everyone's been waiting for it, and it's been waiting for that Ray return. We'll be very pleased, I assume. Again, as much as I like the off-topic that Ray came back for, I think I'll probably be loving this just as much. On the other quick thing I wanted to mention was that the Getting Over It sequel finally happened. I don't know if everyone was aware of it. I don't remember if I brought it up on one of the previous episodes, but Getting Over It was a Play Pals that they did. I think they said like 2016 maybe. And it was, it was like a game like that's a lot like a lot of other games they play, where it was very frustrating, but It's certain ones will hit in different ways, I guess. In sort of a throwaway line, Gavin, or I don't know which one of them said it, but one of them said that if that video got 1 million views, they would play it again because they had a very frustrating time. And someone on the subreddit noticed a couple weeks ago that the video was it was pretty close to 1 million views. And so there was almost like a campaign that they went for to try to push it over 1 million views. And they did. It broke 1 million views, and almost instantly they made this video. So it came out very quickly, and came out 4 days ago, and it's getting, it's at 269,000 views, which is outperforming every video that I see on my screen right now. So I assume it's gonna be a pretty big hit for them. And I don't know if I started watching it. I only watched like maybe the first 15 or so minutes right before I went to bed the other night. So I haven't actually got to watch the whole thing. So I doubt that they made the promise that if that one hit 1 million views that they'll do it again. But still, I like to see them come back, and it's actually the first Play Pals they did in person. It's I think it's Michael and Gavin at Gavin's house maybe, but they're together and actually not doing it over a video chat, which is to me way better, and the chemistry's a lot better. There's no delays. There's no weirdness in the conversation. Improves everything tremendously. So very happy to see that happen just for that fact alone. So then real quick, as just the final part of this, Camp Betrayal wrapped up. The final episode aired this week. I watched the whole thing. I did get behind by maybe I think 2-3 episodes, something like that. And then we watched the night that the finale came out. We went through and watched all 3 of them. I love the show. I think it was probably one of their funnier live action shows that I've seen in a long time. Personally, it's one of those shows too that I feel like I'm not sure if someone wasn't a Rooster Teeth fan, if they would be super into it. I think for me, always for the live action, specifically live action stuff, it gets a little bit better because I know who they are and I know their personalities. So it's one of those things that it just enhances just watching the show more so than it would be if I didn't know anyone there. So I don't know that I'm going back to my, all my close friends and saying, hey, you need to watch this. This will bring you in and make you love Rooster Teeth. But as a fan and someone who's been a fan for a long time, I enjoyed that show a lot. I thought the finale was extra funny, especially considering who was in the finale. I think going forward, if I had to give any type of, I don't know, it's not criticism, but I don't know what to call it, but if I had any, I guess, suggestions for going forward, I would like to see just more opportunities for the people who are the saboteurs, effectively the traitors. I would like to see more opportunities for them to sabotage things, because the games that they had certain things built in for them to do, like that only a traitor could do. So just more stuff like that, and kind of just expanding on the idea, which is, it's a very general, basic suggestion that I'm sure is already kind of in the works. So I would like to see more stuff like that. Maybe more, maybe longer competitions too. Only because some of them it felt like would be very difficult to sabotage because everyone's together, and most of the actions you take had to be pretty minor, because if you did anything big, then it would be caught. So maybe finding ways to divide people up. Very really the same rules that Among Us has, to be honest, because they have the different maps that kind of separate people, and you have settings that you can choose to have more solo tasks or whatever all the options are. But I know there's options in there to kind of separate people more, because it's really the same kind of principle as Among Us, where if everyone's together, you're going to get caught pretty quickly because everyone will see you do it. So if you can find ways to separate people and then actually give opportunity to enhance those lies and everything, or opportunities to lie in questioning, I think that would definitely make the show a lot better. I think that would make the show better. And I'm saying this having already really liked the first season, so really big fan. I'm really happy this was their first live action or like this was like their comeback basically for live action. So it was a very good start. I'm hopeful for things to come. You know, I liked Hardcore Mini Golf, but I like this a lot more. I laughed a lot more through this, especially like those last couple episodes. So feeling good about, you know, hopefully where things are kind of at right now for making content at Rooster Teeth. And now it's just hoping that that continues and that we don't have another, like, any kind of setbacks, or, you know, hopefully things don't get closed down again and prolong everything being at home and delaying more stuff like this. So that's gonna be it for this video. I have to get this thing chopped up a lot, and you will not hear it, but there's a lot of things I have to cut out because I've been stumbling over my words this entire time. So I just keep fucking things up. So thank you everybody for listening. And now there's a dog coming. So thank you everybody for listening. You can see a dog's nose if you're watching this on YouTube. Lick my arm. And we will be back in 2 weeks for another episode of RT Talk. And then, as always, an episode every Wednesday about in the grapes. So thank you everybody, and goodbye. This dog is going to tear apart my microphone arm.